Welcome, my friend. Before we begin, I want you to do something simple. Take a breath. Yes, right now. Inhale. Exhale. There you go. Feels better already, right? Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. When it comes to learning English, especially speaking and listening, the secret is not speed. The secret is slowing down. And I know what you're thinking, but fluent people talk fast? True. But here's the twist. They can talk fast because they learned to talk slow first. Most learners believe speed equals fluency, like English is some kind of race. But fluency is not NASCAR. It's not a Formula One track where you have to zoom at 200 miles per hour or crash into grammar. Fluency is more like walking in a park on a sunny day. You can move, you can enjoy, you can think. And most importantly, you can breathe. When you slow down, your brain finally gets the space it needs to understand what you hear. It can catch small but important words like was, have, or just. You know, those tiny ninja words that quietly change the whole meaning of a sentence. Without slowing down, they disappear like ghosts, and suddenly you're confused for no reason. But slowing down isn't just about listening. It's about speaking, too. When you rush, your brain panics. It tries to grab vocabulary like someone trying to catch falling popcorn. Words slip away, pronunciation becomes fuzzy, grammar runs somewhere into the woods and never returns. You don't sound fluent. You sound stressed. And guess what? The listener feels stressed too. But when you slow down, everything changes. Clarity enters the chat. Your thoughts line up neatly like students waiting for school lunch. Your tongue stops tripping over itself. You finally have time to choose the right word instead of the almost right word. And trust me, people love clear English. Fast English might impress someone for 5 seconds, but clear English keeps them listening. Slowing down also makes you look confident. Think about it. People who rush usually look nervous, like they want to disappear. But confident speakers pause. They breathe. They treat every word like it actually matters. And it does. Your words are little gifts for your listener. Why throw them quickly like garbage? Deliver them gently. There is no prize for fastest speaker of the year. So today, I want you to forget the pressure to speak like a YouTuber who just drank 3 energy drinks. Forget the idea that real English must be lightning fast. Start with slow English. Mindful English. English with attention, intention, and space. Because the slower you go now, the faster you grow later. This is the beginning of your new journey. One where you stop rushing, start noticing, and finally enjoy English in a calm, confident way. And yes, we're going to do it together. Let's be honest for a moment. Have you ever tried to speak English so fast that even you didn't understand what you just said? Your mouth finishes the sentence and your brain is like, wait, what just happened? Yeah, that's what rushing does to you. Many learners think, if I speak fast, people will think I'm fluent. But here's the reality. When you speak too fast, you don't sound fluent. You sound blurry. Your words crash into each other like cars in a traffic jam. Sounds disappear. Endings disappear. Grammar disappears. And the meaning? It gets lost on the way. When you speak too fast, your brain doesn't have enough time to choose the right words, so it grabs the first word that appears, even if it's the wrong one. Instead of saying, I watched a movie, you might say, I watched a movie yesterday. Instead of, I've been studying, you say, I study since morning. It's not because you're stupid, it's because you're sprinting. Your pronunciation suffers too. You know those difficult sounds like th, v, or r. They need time and control. When you rush, they just melt into something strange. Your sentence becomes a sound effect, not a message. The listener has to work extra hard to understand you, and most people will not. They will just smile, nod, and secretly think, what did they say? Now let's talk about listening too fast. Maybe you like to speed up YouTube videos to 1.5x or 2x because you want to train your ear. That can help later, but if you're not ready, it's like trying to lift 200 pounds on your first day at the gym. You don't get stronger, you just get crushed. When you listen too fast, you miss the small words, was, been, just, already, yet. These tiny words are like the secret settings of a sentence. They change the time, the feeling, and the meaning. Miss them, and suddenly you think someone lost their job when they actually just left early. You also miss the emotion, the tone, the little pauses. And language without emotion is like a song without music. Yes, you hear the words, but you don't feel the message. The worst part? Rushing becomes a habit. Your brain gets used to this constant pressure, this feeling of hurry up or you're not good enough. And soon, English becomes stressful. Every conversation feels like an exam. Every sentence feels like a race. But it doesn't have to be this way. You don't need to rush to be good. You don't need to speak fast to be respected. You don't need to listen fast to be smart. In fact, the more you rush, the more mistakes you make, the more confidence you lose. Fast English creates problems. Slow, mindful English solves them. Let's give a name to this new way of learning and speaking. Mindful English. It sounds a little fancy, but the idea is actually very simple. Mindful English means you are fully present with the language. You are not rushing. You are not worrying about tomorrow's exam. You're not thinking, do I sound smart? Do they think my accent is weird? Instead, you are here, in this moment, with this sentence, with this sound, with this meaning. Being mindful means you pay attention on purpose. When you listen, you really listen. You're not half listening to English and half scrolling on your phone. You're not thinking, what should I eat later? While someone is talking to you, your ears, your eyes, your brain, they are all focused on the language in front of you. When you speak mindfully, you don't rush to fill the silence. You allow yourself to pause. You take a breath before answering. You give your brain a second to choose the word you actually want, not the first random word that jumps out. You focus on the sounds leaving your mouth. You notice how your tongue moves, how your lips shape the words, how the sentence feels when you say it clearly. This kind of attention is powerful. Why? Because your brain learns what you focus on. If you always focus on speed, your brain learns to panic. If you always focus on don't make a mistake, your brain learns fear. But if you focus on clarity, on sound, on meaning, your brain learns quality. Mindful English also helps you connect words and meaning more deeply. Think of it like this. If you run through a city at high speed, you see almost nothing. But if you walk slowly, you notice the colors, the buildings, the people, the details. It's the same with English. When you slow down, you begin to notice patterns. How going to becomes gonna, how want to becomes wanna, how native speakers use tone to show emotion. Your memory improves too. The brain doesn't like chaos. It likes calm, focused repetition. When you listen slowly, repeat slowly, and speak slowly, your brain has time to store the information properly. New words stop flying in and out like tourists at an airport. They find a home in your long-term memory. Mindful English also reduces anxiety. Instead of thinking, I must be perfect, you think, I will be present. Instead of chasing speed, you chase understanding. That shift in attitude changes everything. You feel more in control, more relaxed, more confident, even if your English is not perfect yet. Most importantly, mindful English makes learning enjoyable again. You're not fighting with the language. You're exploring it. You're tasting the sounds, feeling the rhythm, playing with the words. It becomes less like a test and more like a conversation with a friend. Mindful English is not about being slow forever. It's about building a strong foundation. Once clarity becomes natural, speed will come on its own, without stress, without chaos, without fear. Now that you understand what mindful English is, let's turn it into action, because ideas are nice, but habits change your life. Here are simple ways you can practice mindful English every single day, without moving to another country, without studying for 5 hours, and without crying over grammar. 1. Slow listening. Choose something short in English, a 1 or 2 minute podcast, a YouTube clip, or even part of this video. First, listen at normal speed. No subtitles, just listen like you're listening to a story. Then, listen again, but more slowly. You can change the playback speed to 0.75x or even 0.5x. This time, pay attention to the small words was, have, just, already, been. Listen to how words connect, like going to becoming gonna, want to becoming wanna. Don't try to understand every single word. Try to feel the rhythm, the emotion, the music of the voice. You're not just training your ears, you're training your attention. 2. Slow. Repeating, shadowing. After listening, choose 1 or 2 sentences and repeat them out loud. This is called shadowing. Don't rush. Copy the tone, the pauses, the stress. Imagine you're an actor playing the character of the speaker. If the speaker pauses, you pause. If their voice goes up, yours goes up. If they sound calm, you sound calm. You're not just saying words, you're borrowing their confidence, their rhythm, their style. Little by little, your mouth learns how natural English feels. 3. Pause before speaking. In your next conversation in English, give yourself permission to pause. Someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" Instead of panicking and shooting words like a machine gun, breathe, think, then answer, "Yesterday, I went to the park with my friend." Clear, simple, calm. A short pause does not make you look weak or stupid. It makes you look thoughtful. Native speakers pause all the time. They say, let me think. Your brain deserves that same kindness. 4. Think about your listener. When you speak, don't only think, "Is my English correct?" Also think, "Is my English clear for them?" Use simple words. Use short sentences. Use pauses to let the other person follow your idea. Instead of saying one long, messy sentence, say 2 or 3 short, clean ones. Your goal is not to impress people with fancy vocabulary. Your goal is to make it easy for them to understand you and enjoy listening to you. 5. Reflect after listening or speaking. At the end of the day, think for 1 or 2 minutes. What went well today in English? What confused me? Did slowing down help me understand more? Maybe you noticed a new phrase. Maybe you understood a joke in English for the first time. Maybe your pronunciation felt clearer. Celebrate those small wins. Reflection turns experience into improvement. Mindful English is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up every day with attention, patience, and curiosity. When you begin practicing mindful English, the first thing you'll notice is not speed, it's peace. For the first time, English doesn't feel like a race you're losing. It feels like something you can actually enjoy. Your brain stops panicking, your thoughts slow down, your words start to feel like they belong to you. Slowly, something amazing begins to happen: clarity. Your sentences become smoother, your pronunciation becomes cleaner. You stop tripping on simple words. You stop freezing when someone asks you a question. You feel more in control, not because your English is perfect, but because your mind is calm. Confidence grows quietly, like a plant. Not with fireworks, not with big dramatic moments, but with small victories. One day you realize you understood a full sentence without translating. Another day you notice that people finally understand you the first time. Then one morning you wake up and feel, for the first time, English isn't scary anymore. That feeling is priceless. Mindful English also helps you connect emotionally with the language. You don't just hear the words, you hear the tone, the rhythm, the energy. You don't just speak, you express. You give your sentences life, and people feel it. They respond to it. They enjoy listening to you. With time, a new version of fluency appears. A fluency that is calm, not chaotic, natural, not forced, clear, not rushed. You become the kind of speaker who doesn't need to talk fast to sound good. You become the kind of listener who notices details other people miss. And then something even more powerful happens. Your speed increases, but this time it's natural speed. Not rushed, not stressful, not messy. Your speed comes from understanding, not panic. It comes from clarity, not fear. You don't have to push anymore. You don't have to pretend. The language flows because your mind is relaxed. The foundation is strong. The habits are clean. Your brain is no longer fighting the language. It's working with it. Mindful English also helps your confidence outside of language. You learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before answering, to slow down when life gets overwhelming. These habits follow you everywhere, in class, at work, with friends, with family. A calm mind doesn't just improve your English, it improves your life. And the best part? Mindful English becomes a natural habit. At first, it feels slow, strange, even uncomfortable. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Like walking, breathing, or tying your shoes, you start recognizing your own growth. You start believing in your own ability. And that belief changes everything. So remember, slowing down is not moving backward. It's preparing yourself to move forward with strength, clarity, and confidence. The world moves fast, but you don't have to. Real fluency begins where panic ends and where mindfulness begins. This journey is yours now, and your English will thank you for it.